Today's project is a Yamaha 650 chopper. As you see from the drawing here, that's what it looked like. It's using ZZR11 running gear, and here's the engine sitting lined up on the jig, ready to go. And I've already turned out a number of these spacers that are going to be put through the frame for mounting the different various engine mounting brackets, the one at the backs. And here you'll see there's a wee clamp that I've made up to sit on the jig to hold the engine straight and parallel. And basically what I've done is I've also squared it off using this casing here right along that seam there, and made sure that was sitting square as well, and it's in the right position, right length away from the steering head. This frame doesn't have a slot as normal. What the chap's going to do is quite handy with a lathe and things like that himself, quite a good builder, so it's going to just have a hole for the rear spindle, and he's going to use a chain adjuster on it. As you see here, I've machined this one so that it takes the ZZR spindle and sits in there nice and flush, and the other end I've actually countersunk this side so that it actually sits in there so I don't lose too much of the spindle for the width of the back end on it. And I'm going to show you that lined up, maybe show you it with the rules and that against it, just to get the line and some measurements off it. But there you have it. Basically mocked up with the rulers just to give you the idea of the lines of the bike. It's quite short, but you make it look quite smart, and not too steeply raked, just 42 degrees. This is a single down tube at the front as well on this bike. Alright, we'll go on with making it now. This is a piece of box section that I use linking up the two tubes that run underneath the engine and the tube that runs at the back of the engine. As you can see here, what I do is I take a piece of tube and I put this on with an ink marker rather than the chalk I would normally use, and then I grind a couple of straight edges into it, and then grind straight in and take that out, and the wee V drops out. There you'll see it sort of marked up before I've done that, and here's an example of it when it's finished. And there you'll see it with a wee piece of tube in it. Go for the tube up to the steering head, looking roughly where it's going to intersect at the height it's going to be at. Then I would normally do this with chalk, but I'm just doing it with an ink marker to let you see. And I sort of put some marks on the tube like that, so that you can see roughly where you're going to be cutting out the notches. And then we'll go away and prepare that in the vise, and I'll bring it back and show you attached to that. So you can see there basically there's half a mark on that, so we will just finish that off. Same here, ground these bits out and then take them back up to the steering head and off them. Right, if you can see that, I've actually not cut right to where the mark is that I've made with ink marker, and the other side I've taken a slightly deeper, and I've actually made it slightly wider as well than what I've marked with ink marker. Just experience has taught me that the tube needs to be wide to its widest point to fit onto the steering head tube. So I'll offer that up to see how it fits. And you can see it still actually needs some more taken out at the top. So we'll away and do that and take it up to that line that was originally marked on it. Hope you can see that here. You'll see I've taken it right to the very edge of the black line there. Still need to straighten up a wee bit, it is a wee bit off centre, but I'll offer that up again to the steering head. Just now I'm just concentrating on getting the proper lines and you see that's not actually too bad. It's a wee bit wide at the bottom, but will actually grind more off the sides so that it will slip further into there, and it'll actually probably not a bad match for that. Maybe take another wee touch off the top. Don't worry if you've got to do this 3 or 4 times, that's not important. The important thing is getting it a nice tight fit. Okay, so this is it, been cut even more. I've actually taken more off the sides here and taken out less, so I actually overcut the bottom of that originally. But that's alright, as long as we've left the tube a bit longer than we need it. We've got more material that we don't need that we can cut off at the end, which is what I always do. You can see there, that's a much neater fit. We still need to take a wee bit more off of it, but we're actually getting very close to the final piece. So we'll go and finish that, probably end up taking a file to it just to get the last wee bits, and I'll show you the final fit for that. Okay, this is probably the final cut. Don't know where that's showing up there. And we're going to offer it up into the frame. And there you have it, that's pretty good. I'll maybe just tweak that when I get it sort of set up with the back bolt or the rear engine mount in place, and make sure it's still sitting right and level and the right height above the engine. But that's not bad at all. One of the things to point out with these tubes, if they get them and they aren't painted, the chances are they're covered in oil. As you'll probably see off of my hand how black that is. So it's a good thing for all metal work before you weld it is to wipe it down with some thinners to get rid of all that oil. Petrol's no good, it's greasy, so it needs to be thinners or the same type of material. As I say, it gives you an idea. That's just for handling this tube here, and all the fittings that you make on in the lathe and that, give them all a wipe down. Now I just wanted to show you this quickly, if that'll pick it up. That's the dirt or the oil that I got off of that one tube that I was showing you. That's just we put a bit of thinners on a piece of cloth, and you can see how much that contains in it there. So you definitely don't want to be welding on top of that muck, because it will interfere with it. Once we've marked up the tube and ground it, we then just check for a fit. This is a steering head that's in the vise, and as you can see here, as you tip this up, how good a fit it is. Hope you can pick that out. Just showing you this nice tight fit here that you're looking for when you've notched out the tube. Hopefully that'll show up and it won't be too blurry. And this is the whole way round. This is the ideal setup. You're not really wanting any gaps whatsoever. I'll try transferring the camera to the other hand here, so you can see the whole way around it. Hopefully that's showing you underneath. Can't see the lens now, or the viewing screen. But that's really what you're looking for when you notch the tube. Really no gaps at all on it. Then you've got a nice fit there for putting the weld round it.